Hi, Stephen from OWNorDisown. So I'm testing the Asus TUF505. So it's got the Ryzen 7 3758 CPU and the GTX 1660 Ti. It's got two RAM sticks of 8 gigabytes. That's 16 gigabytes altogether, and it's got an SSD and a spinning hard drive. So my first impressions, well, I mean it's a plastic build. It's a TUF series, so it goes through the military standard 810 testing, so it's quite rugged. The panel itself also is quite stiff, so even though it's a plastic to build, it's pretty solid. But it doesn't feel premium like the Helios 300 does, that type of thing. It also performs not as well as the Helios 300. I will be doing a separate video comparing the two, but it's quite a big difference. I'm recording using a camera, so you can actually see the real frames per second. In fact, while we've got this going here, I've got HW info showing. I can show the clock speeds and the temperatures of the CPU and the GPU. But to record the power of it, you've got to use AMD UProf. So I'll get that running. So let's click at that. And start the profiles. We'll have that running in the background. You can always come back to that a bit later. So the settings here on Far Cry 5. I'm showing us at ultra settings. For the time being. See where I'm supposed to go here. So you try and go to the base there, and I get like a fall asleep. It won't let me go there. But the CPU and the GPU have been repasted with liquid metal. Now I got this from HID Evolution, and it retails for about $1,100.
Changing position. No surviving a hit like that.
Exactly. Now I must admit, for an extra $100 for the Asus 300, the Acer Helios 300, I would get that. Yeah, without a doubt. And I think for this to be worthwhile, I'd like to see this about $900. And I'm sure in time that'll drop down in price. But typically you're like 10 to 20 FPS behind the Helios 300, which is quite surprising. And I often wonder, it could well be it must be the CPU. It's the only thing I can think of. So we're running here 42 FPS at ultra.
So glad the Wolf Den is in our hands.
I'll switch to down quality settings. So you can see what changed. We'll get switched to high. And you'll notice in quite a few different games it's not that much difference.
Don't matter how good we're doing. Switching up my spots.
Say that, you bastards. So I just wanted here to show you what the difference is. If I keep still, then it's... Hold on. Freaking wolf. So this is high settings. 67, 69. I mean, you get fluctuations. Let's switch down to... to normal. So you do get a little bit, but I wouldn't say the difference is drastic. And I found out in all my testing, you do gain a little bit, but it's not life-shattering. And I found the same. I found the same with the Zephyrus G, didn't I? lowering the quality settings doesn't result in an awful lot of performance increase.
Skunk seems a little crazy!
Yeah! Freaking crazy skunk, fuck off! Alright, I'll take it. There you are. I'll sort him out. Now this is quite a punishing game in terms of temperatures. We'll see where we're at the moment. So the clock rate, holds usually around about 3,400, 3,500 type of mark. But it running pretty cool. Back so far at 82 degrees. And if we lower it down to low, we'll see what we end up getting. This will work the CPU more as well, so we should see a bit of a spike. But you notice here at low, I wouldn't say it's any higher, is it? It's about the same.
Still alive.
Oh, definitely get the new Helios 300. The Helios 300 is about 10 to 20 FPS difference in performance. I can actually give you some comparison numbers here. So in Far Cry 5 Ultra settings in this TUF505 I was getting 60. Well, so the Helios 300 I'm getting 82, and that was just unbalanced. Of course, you got the turbo mode button there, and that cranks it up to 87. So 60 to 87. It's a huge difference, and I'm seeing that time and time again. The GPU 78 degrees hottest. The CPU up to 82. So we'll keep an eye on that as we plough through some of these games. Helios 300 every day of the week for me. So let's have a look. Now we'll start off at medium and we'll switch it up. Of course, I've tested every option, quality option, and I've tested also on turbo mode and balance mode. Now I've got a camera here pointing down to the laptop. In fact, hold on. Can you see that? Yeah. So you can switch to turbo mode by pressing FN and F5. You can go between silence, balance, and turbo. So I'll put on turbo now, and the fans do increase a little bit. But the fans aren't that loud either way, really. It's not like a 50 decibels type of sound. I've bought this sound meter so I can play that for you. Two of them on me. Marcus!
Time to change things.
Alright, finally get a game.
Now enter.
Ah, thanks. Thanks, Vandemort. I'm glad you like our videos. I know Jared's does great stuff, but
Select your hero.
he pounds them out. He really does. Of course, he's quit his job and he's doing it full time now. I still work full time. So during my lunch hour, I try and do some of this, and in the evenings, so it's a little bit tough. Now I do have the Acer Nitro 5. It's in a big box. Best Buy shipped it in like the world's biggest box, a bit like the A940 box. But that's got a GTX 1650, and that only cost me $750 from Best Buy. I think that could be a great deal. And of course, I'm going to compare that against the HP Pavilion, which I think is still overpriced. At was it $890 or whatever it was. Come on, we can get these guys! Yeah, got him. Yeah, not so fast when you're dealing with us.
Escort the payload.
It's hard to read the text at the same time.
Let them up.
Yeah. We'll get you. So hold on, yeah, so 140, I mean, we're getting 140 FPS. That's pretty good, but this is medium.
Engaging fortifications.
You know, we should be getting close to this at high settings.
Step right up.
Lethality level.
Let's keep it going.
Go on. We'll break this push.
Kill the Mahal.
Ah, finally I died. So what's the questions? Out of Nitro has, which processor does it have? It has the 9300H.
I am not ready
So it's going to be exact same comparison to the Pavilion. And it will be interesting. I'll compare it also to this 3750H to see whether it'll bottleneck. Because this definitely does bottleneck it. You know, it plays fine. I mean, you get reasonable frame rates, but it's not the best you can do. And I remember even in the Zephyrus G, that had a 1660 Ti Max Q, and it was bottlenecking that as well. I was surprised. All right, so that's
of the game.
That's that game. So let's have a look at the temperatures now. So let's say we're hovering around about the 3,500 mark, and still peaked at 82 degrees. And here you can look at the watts. The CPU's pulling, you know, about, it peaks only at about 42 watts, which is quite amazing, really. So it's a very efficient CPU, and you know, I was getting 5 hours of battery life, same as the Helios 300. They ran neck and neck in my battery test, so they're pretty much on a par there. Alright, so let's do Battlefield 5. No, I don't know how to undervote the CPU on here. It's an AMD CPU. So this is the speakers, but of course it's right over the computer. So that's a fan. I don't know what I'm saying. Right, I'll put it on balanced. Yeah, so, you know, that's right over the computer. So that's worst case situation. You never have your head over the computer.
Soldiers, objective Baker has been lost. Capture then hold as many objectives as you can.
So the GPU percentage is not very high, is it? Oh my God! So yeah, so the CPU, the GPU percentage is only at 60%. Come on, don't kill me this time. Yeah, no worries.
We have taken objective Charlie.
I think I'm going to go on foot. Alright, so just look, what quality settings? We're 48 FPS here. With high. Put on ultra. So the same. Look! I was doing quality settings. You must have thought I was just standing there. Alright, we'll play on ultra for a bit. Finally killed somebody.
Trouble over there. Breathe easy, I'll fix you.
I got you, mate. Don't worry about that.
Objective Charlie has been lost.
Ah. Come on, where's that guy I healed? Where are you? Oh, we've got to get Charlie back, guys. Oh no, someone's taking freaking F. Where is that scoundrel? I think we got him. Want a med kit? Gotta heal you, buddy. Problem with this map, it's like too spread out. And it's there. So okay, so that's we'll crouch this time. Ultra settings. Let's take it down to medium. And it's still the same! I thought we had all the posts. Oh god, I gotta run miles.
You're the last one standing. Wait for more. There you are. First aid.
I'll get you, buddy.
Calm. I'm fixing you.
Ah, fuck.
Bloody enemy tank!
Yeah! Get him. I notice that no one ever heals me. Like, hey, good night, fucking just heal you. Right, I'm going to turn on turbo mode now. We're at 48. Oh. Right, turbo mode. Usually you see like a couple FPS difference. So turbo mode's not done anything here.
We are now losing objective Fox.
While we're sitting here on the joyride, let's switch it to low as we can get. Still at 48.
We have taken objective easy. Good job. Attention, we are losing objective easy.
Guys back there.
We no longer have control of objective
Here! Grenade!
Ah, fuck. I thought we had that base. We're getting owned. So yeah, you see 36% GPU usage, low inequality setting, doesn't always yield good dividends. Now the keyboard is fine, you know. I mean, they got the white paint around the edges of the keys, a bit like the Helios 300. That makes it stand out quite well. You got you do have RGB lighting on this. Mine didn't have any of the software actually installed, but you get to get ARM Recreate software from the Windows Store. So to change the RGB lighting, you got to click on the system and then the lighting. You got all these patterns here, and you can actually change the color. Now, if you want to Aura Sync, you think you could do the same, but that doesn't work. So the software, I think, is still in beta. It's not the best. So let's have a recap at the temperatures. There. So like 80. I mean, it's running. It does run cool. It runs great. But unfortunately, it bottlenecks the GPU. So to recap the settings on this. Ultra. Now whether you need how the general stock pace would work on this, I think it's worked fine. I mean the liquid metal only works as well as the fans can push the heat out, you know, and the fans don't blow that hard. So I think generally I think the 3750H is a fairly cool chip. And as you see, it only runs at 35 to 42 watts. It doesn't pull that many watts. So that's the best thing going for it, for sure. Probably not one I would buy, me personally. I think I'd rather go for a 6-core CPU now. But we'll see how the 9300H gets on the Intel one in comparison. Now that's a good fence, look at that. Hey. Any issues I've had with the laptop? I've had a couple of blue screens for random reasons. There's no reason at all, really. Now I did overclock the GPU, and I saw about 1 frame per second most. We'll activate it here in this game here. We'll see what difference we get. Alright, so while we're in here, 65 FPS. Let's overclock. These are the settings I've reprofiled I've done for the overclock here. Actually, I boosted the core quite a bit. So was it a 65 before, was it? So we did get a bit extra there, look. Probably like 5. Alright, so now we're like, I should get in the shade somewhere where I can't be spotted. Stand out in the open. Let's get down here. Alright, so ultra settings. I'm going to get 87 FPS. Let's put on medium. So we do get some improvement in some games, of course. And we're getting a far better GPU utilization in this game. So this all depending on the game. Now here I think we're in balance mode. 112, 114. Turbo mode. About 117. 116. So we get like an extra 3 there, switching to turbo mode. Is that worth it? Well, I mean the fans don't increase that much louder, so I think so, it's okay. And you don't see anybody for ages. I mean I suck at this game, granted, but most of the time I'm testing, so I'm just running around benchmarking things. But I did get to the last 2. I did kill somebody, which was rather amazing for me. But I only saw 1 person. Apart from the guy at the end, the guy who shot me in the end. I saw 1 person who I killed, and that's it. Any drink? Looks like a Starbucks coffee. Thank you very much, I'll have that. So it's a 120 Hz screen, so if you want to really max it out, let's switch it down to low, so it's 120, so I mean that's perfect for the screen, isn't it? If you want to really max it out, let's put it down onto low. I mean the game looks rather pish, but that gives us an extra 5, so switch that back up to ultra. That's still about the same, isn't it? But this game's very playable even at ultra. The webcam's fine because that's located up top. The panel color accuracy, it's not the greatest. I mean, It's okay when you're just looking at it by yourself, but when you're looking at it compared to other ones, it's not as great. But it's got no backlight bleed, so that's a good plus. It's not the brightest, but that being said, I took it outside in the sun, and I got shot some footage of it then, and it doesn't show reflections. So that is a good plus. So if you're, playing next to a window or your bright lights, it copes very well with bright lights, which is good because it says it's not the brightest screen. That's it. I thought this was a toilet. No, oh devil. You'll notice along the top here there is some air intakes there, so you do get a bit of cool air there. The chassis runs cool, got no complaints with it at all there. Even underneath, that's fine. So all in all, it's a decent laptop. I wouldn't say it's great, it's decent, but it is bottlenecked by the CPU. Its battery life 5 hours, that's okay, that's fine. You got good storage options. I did have a comment from somebody saying it only had a single channel RAM, which you definitely need to put 2 sticks in there. I already get 10 to 20 FPS less than the Helios 300, so, and mine's got 2 sticks, so I can only imagine what it's like if you only have 1 stick. Here I am on my usual road. So look at the settings we got here. Go to a preset. And we're getting to 69, 67. It does fluctuate up and down, but it's around about the good old 65 mark. And if we lower the settings to low, of course, we do get some scaling here. So again, it depends on the game. Now, the Helios 300 was very close to a 2060. In fact, it was probably slightly better at times, particularly with the turbo mode you have on that. You don't have any thing like that on here, really. You have the turbo mode, I suppose, pressing F5, but that gives like 2 or 3 FPS. It's not much. And you'd get better performance on that than this, for sure. The ghosting. In fact, let me see if I can show you the ghosting. So, yeah, you get a fair bit of ghosting still, compared to some other ones. Certainly compared to the Helios 300, it's worse. So, I think all in all, this panel is not that great. So that's pretty much it. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. And full review should be up shortly. Got a script to do, graphs. My next video will probably be the unboxing first look of the Acer Nitro 5. And in the meantime, I'll be starting to do some testing on the HP Pavilion 15. Alright, cheers, bye.